Royal Caribbean has paused the sale of cruises longer than 7 nights because of some new CDC rules. Yikes, what does that mean? Let's dive into this big change up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and just this week, Royal Caribbean announced that it will not be selling any cruises longer than 7 nights until further notice in order to comply with new rules by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control. Now, this news may sound a little scary and even ominous. However, it's important to take a step back and look at what this means, and if you have a cruise booked that's longer than 7 nights, what to do right now. Now, the CDC's framework for conditional sailing order, which is the order that replaced the no-sail order and also allows cruise ships to possibly restart sailings, stipulates that cruises longer than 7 nights and call on a U.S. port are not allowed while the CSO is in effect. Therefore, Royal Caribbean sailings between January 1 and November 1, 2021 are, quote, temporarily paused, end quote, while Royal Caribbean determines what to do with them. The cruise line informed travel agents on Tuesday of the change, and they said, quote, to ensure compliance, we have temporarily paused the sale of such cruises as we evaluate options and determine the necessary itinerary updates or changes, end quote. Now, more information about the fate of these sailings will be coming in the coming weeks once Royal Caribbean has an update to share. What this really means is Royal Caribbean has been going through all the new regulations that the CDC has put on the cruise industry in order to be able to restart operations, and obviously there are sailings that were already on the books that were longer than 7 nights. And as a result, in order to be in compliance with the CDC, Royal Caribbean is trying to figure out, okay, how do we make these work, make changes to them, and yes, possibly cancel them, but nothing's been decided yet. It's also important to note that this change has no effect on cruises from Europe, Australia, or really anywhere else that doesn't visit a U.S. port. So if you've got cruises in those regions, you're unaffected by this change. And again, if you have a cruise booked already on one of these 8-night or longer sailings, nothing's changed. You're still booked on it. We're just in this interim waiting period while Royal Caribbean tries to figure it out. And in the meantime, Royal Caribbean simply will not be selling any more of these while they figure out what's going on. Now, Vicky Freed, who's Royal Caribbean Senior Vice President of Sales, Trade, Support, and Service, touched briefly on the subject when she said that, quote, the 8-night cruises right now are on hold, on pause from January 1 to November 1, 21, so we're still reevaluating the whole situation, end quote. Now, I noticed last week that cruises longer than 7 nights had disappeared from the cruise line website for booking, and the specific rule in the framework for conditional sailing order clearly forbids cruises longer than 7 nights while the order is in effect. Quote, the cruise ship operator must not sail or offer to sail on an itinerary longer than 7 days. CDC may shorten or lengthen the number of days permitted to sail based on public health considerations and as set forth in technical instructions or orders, end quote. Now, Royal Caribbean cruises don't usually exceed 7 nights in North America. It's not very popular here for Americans. Most of these cruises tend to be 7 nights or less. However, there are longer sailings to be found, especially repositioning sailings and sailings to more exotic locations like the Southern Caribbean. In addition, many cruises from the Northeast United States tend to be longer because of the time needed to travel to the warmer Caribbean waters. In the brief update, Royal Caribbean did not indicate what changes would be made to these existing sailings and if they would be shortened or canceled. Other cruise lines, for what it's worth, have also pulled the plug on longer sailings already. Carnival Cruise Line was one of the first cruise lines to remove sailings longer than 7 nights from its website. Princess Cruises and Holland America Line, which are also subsidiaries of Carnival Corporation, have also done the same while they seek clarification on how to deal with this regulation. Princess Cruises issued a statement regarding the change saying, quote, while we wait for further information, we have temporarily stopped selling all cruises that are 8 days and longer, which call upon a U.S. port and depart January 1 through November 1, 2021. You might be wondering why November 1, 2021 is such an important date, and that is because that's when the conditional sail order theoretically would expire. Now, could it be extended? Absolutely, but Royal Caribbean's got to play with the cards they're dealt with right now, and that is looking at that particular time window. So again, if you have a cruise booked already that's an 8-night or longer cruise, don't freak out, don't do anything, don't cancel it on your own. Wait and see what Royal Caribbean is going to do. Certainly, there's a couple of obvious choices available. Number one, they could simply shorten the sailings. Or number two, they could cancel the sailings. Or even number three, heck, something we're not even thinking about, right? It's important to remember that nobody has the answer yet as to what is happening with this. And in addition, with the pause on these longer sailings, it provides Royal Caribbean more time to evaluate options for these particular cruises. There could be further changes and details related as the cruise line works through the details from the CDC, as well as the CDC admitting itself that a lot of the things in the CSO could still change, obviously, as the world changes and as new policies, protocols, and conditions alter. So nothing's quite written in stone yet. That's the basic bottom line. But it is interesting that Royal Caribbean has gone to this length to be able to put the pause button on these longer sailings, and we'll just have to wait and see what happens with those particular cruises and if they end up being altered, canceled, or something else altogether. Let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen to these longer sailings, and if you think such a protocol for these longer sailings is even worth it in the first place. Let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure you like this YouTube video. It really does help with the YouTube algorithm, which is all important. And subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications. That way, YouTube lets you know when we have a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.